morning, everyone. I thought today with our Isaiah study, we do start Isaiah chapter 5. Grab your Bibles and your journals, and I got my coffee because it's real early in the morning, and let's get started. Okay, so Isaiah chapter 5, it starts out with a title at the beginning of in my Bible, and it says Isaiah, the Lord's Vineyard. Israel, the Lord's Vineyard. So we need to think about the vineyard that they're talking about in here is the nation of Israel. I can't even talk today. I paused to make sure that I had volume because a couple of them haven't had volume lately, and I've been working on that. Okay, it sounds like it's doing okay. So in Isaiah chapter 5, verses 1 and 2, I got through, and then I wrote some notes, and I thought I'd stop and we'd talk about those. So I'm going to start reading in verse number 1 now. Now will I sing to my well-beloved a song of my well-beloved touching his vineyard. My well-beloved hath a vineyard in a very fruitful hill. Okay, so remember, they're saying the vineyard is Israel, and his well-beloved is God. So his well-beloved God has a vineyard in a very fruitful hill. And he fenced it, and I found out that meant he dug it, and dug to make the vineyard, and gathered out the stones thereof, and planted it with the choicest vines, so the choicest people, and built a tower in the midst of it, and also made a winepress therein. And he looked that it should bring forth grapes, and it brought forth wild grapes. So I studied that out because I wasn't sure at first what they were speaking about. And I studied and I studied and I studied, and a lot of it was all bringing it back into the fact that it's talking about Israel. And Israel is this vineyard. It's a symbol. And when Jesus looked at me, like God looked at this vineyard, Israel, what does he see? Because when God looked at his vineyard, after he put choice vines in there, he saw wild grapes. And I thought, oh. So I want to bring forth, and I want God to see me as someone who's producing good fruit, just like the fruit of the Spirit. So when I got done studying, my questions were, what am I? Am I being good, or am I being wild? What am I producing? And in order to think about it, I have to think about what the fruits are. So, am I producing any of those fruits? So I thought, I need to really think about that. Am I truly producing the fruits the way that I should be? So I thought, let me look at the fruits. And it says in Galatians chapter 5, verse 22, but the fruit of the Spirit is love. Am I showing forth love towards everyone? Probably not the way I should. When I think about Jesus showing forth love, he's much kinder and gentler and not as suspicious, I don't think, of and worried about people ripping him off and those kinds of things, which I tend to do more than I used to because the world's so evil all around us, and sometimes you start to think, Is that true? So I have to rely on God to just help me to discern between good and evil and just love one another. Joy. I do have joy on a regular basis, but I do get down at times. I get what I call melancholy, and where I've worked and 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 worked, and then it's just like, so I have to be careful on that and take regular breaks so that my joy shows forth. Because if I have joy in the Lord, other people will see it and want it too. Peace. I do have peace. I get myself in a turmoil once in a while, but I do have good peace because I know, and God's proven it over and over and over again, He's there for me. I shouldn't fret over things that are coming up. What am I going to do? How am I going to prepare? Da 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 da. And just say, Lord, guide me, and wait for His guidance. Long suffering. That's a hard one with a couple of people. You've been burned by them, but you still keep on keeping on, because your diligence will pay off for them. Gentleness. I try to be gentle with people. Sometimes I feel like, I have to tell them a bit stronger because they're not hearing, or I don't want to hurt their feelings, but I still need to be gentle, because a soft answer turneth away wrath, and that's in Proverbs. So when I give people an answer after I've told them over and over and over again or something, I still need to be gentle with them. Goodness. I try to choose the good path. I think we all should, no matter what. Faith. I think I have a strong faith, but you never know. One day when I'm tested on something, I may get weak. So I want to have that strong faith. So I want to constantly work on that. Meekness. Meekness doesn't mean weakness. Every time I read the word meekness, I want to remember that. So I usually say it in my head. Meekness doesn't mean weakness. It doesn't mean I'm weak when I'm meek. It just means I'm not bullying or bossy, and I have a trouble with that, because sometimes I want to be in control when I should just and just be meek and guide gently. Temperance. Self-control can be a hard thing for everyone. So that is something I always have to work on. Controlling myself not to do things that aren't good for me. Like sit down in the evening and eat a bunch of potato chips. I like to do that. But in everything I need moderation. So eating a bunch of potato chips before bed? No. Spending money when I shouldn't? I have a problem sometimes. I like stationery. So those kinds of things I need to work on. And against such there is no law. And they that are Christ are crucified, have crucified the flesh with the afflictions of lusts. If we live in the Spirit, let us also walk in the Spirit. Let us not be desirous of vainglory, provoking one another, envying one another. And I thought that would be if I can focus on all that, if we all could focus on all that, we would be doing good fruit. We wouldn't be wild fruit. So I thought that would be a good thing for us to focus on this week. Let's have, good fruit coming out of us. And then, why should God allow me to stay in His garden if I am not producing for Him? And that's a good question. If we want to stay in God's garden and live for Him, we need to live for Him. What should I be doing differently for God? And that's, I think, working on my fruit. What am I doing right and can improve on? And what do I need to get rid of in my life? So that's going to be my focus. What am I doing right so that I can expand on that? And what do I need to get rid of in my life? So there's when I went through the fruits and thought about it. And that's when I want to focus on this week. What do you guys want to do? Pull from this and do this week to study and think about and grow with the Lord for. I liked this study, and it was really deep thought for me. Am I being a wild grape in some areas? Or am I being a good grape? So, I thought that was good. Thank you for doing this time with me, and I'm hoping that you got something from this. If you did, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't, let me know why, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.